Hello everybody and welcome to the Artist First World Radio Network, home of the best new music you've never heard and home of the best new talk shows you need to hear. Please don't forget to visit our archive page at www.artistfirst.com where you can hear all our past shows for free and on demand. You are tuning in to High School Football America. This show airs at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Thursday. For more information about this program and to hear past shows for free, please visit artistfirst.com/jefffisher.htm. And now here's your host of High School Football America, Jeff Fisher.
Thank you very much, Corey. Good evening, high school football fans, and welcome to this edition of High School Football America for August the 25th. Lots to talk about since last week, including a study that shows over 166 million fans attended high school football games live. That's a number that's bigger than the college football and NFL combined. Let's talk about a receiver in Indiana who set a new receiving record for yards. An Alaska high school football player scoring 8 touchdowns, 5 different ways, and a big court decision in the Midwest that could affect the streaming of high school football games by websites around the nation. Now then, there's that little problem called Hurricane Irene that's barreling up toward the Carolinas, forcing some schedule changes from Florida to North Carolina. Plus, she's probably going to have an effect on more states as moves up the East Coast with lots of wind and rain, so stay tuned for that. Several kickoff classic games, in fact, in Florida were moved up to last night, with North Carolina and South Carolina making plenty of Friday night games, Thursday night games. So going to have a lot of scores tonight because some other states are playing Thursday night football tonight, Michigan, Texas. So for scores from all of the Thursday night games, go to highschoolfootballamerica.com. Click on the high school wire and then select the state you want for your scores. Remember, you can keep up to date with all the high school football news from every state by going to the high school football wire. Again, highschoolfootballamerica.com. Do it every day. We've got some updates every day from as many states as we can. You can also follow High School Football America on Facebook and Twitter. Just go to the website, click the icons at the top of the page. Otherwise, if you like to search for things, the Twitter handle is HSFB America. If you have any comments during the show, please feel free to contact us on the Facebook page. Again, just search High School Football America and click onto it. Now let's take a look at who we have on the show tonight. It's a great show. We're going to start the show with two of Michigan's legendary high school football coaches, Al Fracassa from Brother Rice and John Herrington from Farmington Hills Harrison, both coaches in the Detroit suburb area. Fracassa is the state's winningest coach, just 5 wins shy of 400 for his career. And Herrington, while 13 state titles, Fracassa has captured 7 of them. Both schools open the 2011 season on Saturday in the Big Day Prep Showdown 7 at Eastern Michigan. Also on the show tonight, Tony Sanchez, the head coach at Bishop Gorman High School outside of Vegas. The Gales ranked number 9 in the nation by Max Preps after beating number 4, or former number 24, Chaparral from Arizona last week. Tomorrow night on ESPN2, Bishop Gorman testing itself again, taking on Armwood High School from Florida, ranked number 2 in the nation by Max Preps. And then a little bit later in the show, we're also going to talk about a cool contest sponsored by State Farm called Friday Night Feats, as a look for the top high school football videos for the 2011 season. And we're going to talk with David Bazee about that and find out how some schools around the country can win up to $160,000 in prize money. Time to thank our sponsors for tonight. As always, along for the ride, Blitz Group, our media sponsor. Go to blitzgroupllc.com. The High School Rudy Awards here as they get ready to have players nominated from around the country that best define the 4 C's: character, courage, contribution, and commitment. Go to highschoolfootballrudyawards.com to learn more. And, of course, the National High School Coaches Association, a proud sponsor of High School Football America. Their mission simple: provide leadership and support to coaches and administrators for their programs. For more information or to become a member, go to nhsca.com. Now, if you'd like a media kit to sponsor High School Football America, just drop me an email at jeff@highschoolfootballamerica.com. Time to get to the interviews. When High School Football America returns, we're heading to the Motor City. First up, John Herrington of Farmington Hills Harrison, the number 15 team in the nation, and Max Prep's excellent 25. This is High School Football America on the Artist First Radio Network.
The hottest technology in the world isn't being developed in Silicon Valley. In the United States Navy, more top-secret technologies are being created than ever before. Incredible machines made of stealth materials that fly by themselves. The only problem with these incredible technologies? It's a shame the enemy can't see them. To learn more, call 1-800-USA-NAVY or visit Navy.com. Navy, accelerate your life. You've heard of being named All-Conference, but only one organization has earned the classification of being All-World: the United States Navy. Whether it's humanitarian efforts, fighting terrorism, or protecting America's freedoms, the Navy is the team that helps us all win big. To learn how you could make it to the big league, call 1-800-USA-NAVY or visit Navy.com. Navy, accelerate your life. The Navy Seahawk helicopter has a lift capacity of over 6,000 pounds. But when it comes to helping those around the world who need it most, they lift the hopes of millions. To learn more about how the Navy is the best place to do great things, call 1-800-USA-NAVY or visit Navy.com. It will do you and the world a load of good. Navy, accelerate your life.
If you don't clean up your room, the Board of Health is going to condemn it.
The Board of Health doesn't even know about your room. What's more, they don't care.
You know, if you keep making that face, it's going to freeze that way.
Not unless you're someplace really, really cold. Actually, a lot of the warnings moms hand out are exaggerated.
If you don't get your blood pressure checked, you could have high blood pressure, not even know it, and you could die from a stroke.
But she's right about that one. Call the American Heart Association or visit our website to learn more.
And now back to High School Football America with your host, Jeff Fisher.
Thank you very much, Corey. Coming up a little bit later in the show, we've got a great show tonight. Tony Sanchez, the head coach at Bishop Gorman in Las Vegas, and Al Fracassa from Brother Rice outside of Detroit. He is the state's winningest coach, but not far behind is a guy named John Herrington of Farmington Hills, Harrison, who owns the most state titles at 13. He's entering his 42nd season at Harrison, defending Division II champs, loaded with lots of talent back from last year's team, and many are saying that this could be one of his best teams ever, ranked number 15 in Max Prep's Excellent 25. So without further ado, let's find out about Harrison. And Coach Herrington, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much.
Well, we're excited to have you here. We talked about it in our first show. Between you and Al, you got 94 years worth of coaching experience, so I'm going to learn something tonight, I guess.
Well, I don't know. You learn that we just don't know what else we can do. We just enjoy coaching, so we just keep going, you know.
All right. Well, let's before we talk about 2011, let's help our listeners out understand a little bit about your school, a little bit of Harrison and your career there. You're the only school the coach has ever had, but tell us about the tradition over the last 4 decades and 13 titles.
Well, I'd love to. Yeah, we started a program here. Came here in 1970 from a sister school, and we built this school. And, we struggled a little bit early, and then we started getting some better players, and before you know it, we just got a winning tradition going. A lot of little things that we do, and people like to play here, and they come in expecting to win. So it's been good. We have had a few losing seasons, but not too many. In the 42, I think we have 3 losing seasons. So,
well, it's always good to have, like I said, coaches that have that experience, because I think we do have a lot of coaches that listen, so we can gain from that experience. I mean, you said you do a lot of things right. What are some of your key philosophies that make your program tick?
Well, I think basically is that coaching staff, and a lot of us have been together for a long time here, we care about the kids on and off the field. You know, we mentor them a lot in the classroom. I'm still a classroom teacher, my 50th year starting, believe it or not. Wow. I like to be in the building. And I think that's part of the reason for the success, that it's not a football factory, really. It's just a good public school outside of Detroit, 1,200 kids. And we do work year-round at it. I mean, we do have a football class as such, football tech class. And we got one of my ex-players, now he's in his late 40s, is a great weight coach, so that takes a lot of the pressure off me. That's one reason a coach can stay around. He doesn't have to run all the weight program year-round all the time. So I will tell you that.
No,
that's one of the keys.
That really is, and you've had a ton of talent through the years. Can you name a couple of players that some of our listeners may remember, or just some good kids that were great high school kids and went on to college and never made it any further?
Certainly. I think, our first really great player was John Miller, and he played in the 80s and went on and captained at Michigan State. He's known for intercepting 4 passes against Michigan in the big game. And he was our first great one. Drew Stanton is with the Detroit Lions right now, was one of our quarterbacks. And we had a player named Nick Williams who played for Miami when they were really good, and then played for Cincinnati. But it's not really like we've had a lot of pro players. we've had a lot of good college players. And we have 3 that have already committed, which is probably the most we've had going into their senior year.
And we'll talk about those kids in just a little bit here. Last question before we go to 2011. So many great teams, and this is probably unfair to put you on the spot, but is there one or two that stand out from a team standpoint over your time there?
Well, I hope my ex-players aren't listening, because I was just talking to a couple of them about this JV game, and I got in trouble because the other day I said I thought 2000 could have been our best team, but probably 2000, 2001. We won every game both years. That's when we had Drew Stanton and a kid named Akeem Shabai, and we really were not challenged in the 2 years, and mercied just about everybody. So that was probably our best, but we've had other good ones too, and we've had a lot of kids that probably their teams weren't that good that somehow snuck through and won it, and that's very satisfying when that happens.
Well, that's the beauty of high school football, of course. So let's go to 2011 again, and not to put the pressure, but many are saying this could be the best. I read a couple of newspapers in the area saying you got a large number back. I think one said you have 23 returners from last year's championship team. So tell us about some of those players, and maybe start with the kids that are Division I prospects.
Yeah, we have 4 really outstanding players. Our first was Aaron Burbridge, and he's probably the fastest kid in the state. Great receiver. Defensive back. I know that we're going to get double coverage Saturday night on him for sure, so we got to move him around. But he's a great player, committed to Michigan State. Then we have Devin Funches. He's a 6'5" tight end, wide receiver, defensive end type. He just came on halfway through last year. He's committed to Michigan. And then Mario Ojemudia, a boy with parents were born in Nigeria. He was born here, but he's got really just great quickness, defensive lineman. Not very big, though. He's only about 6'3", 215, 220. So they're the 3 tops. And then Jake Vento is he was our leading receiver last year in far as catches, but I've had to move him to quarterback. So in one way, he's a great quarterback, but we lost a great receiver by having to move him. So we'll see what happens. As far as being the best ever, it's way too early to tell that. We didn't look that great in our 4-way scrimmage, so we'll see what happens.
Well, first off, I've been in Nigeria, and I still can't pronounce names over there, so I give you all the credit for being able to do that. And that's my job. I'm supposed to be able to pronounce those names. But anyway, let's talk a little bit about the expectations on this team and how you as a coach kind of deflect all of that. I mean, national rankings are great. It seems like everybody has rankings and polls nowadays. But what are some of the things you're telling this team about not reading your own press clippings?
Oh, that's exactly what we're telling them. And Burbridge had a great quote in the paper. He says, I'm really tired of all the coverage and everything. I just want to go out and have fun and just play football and just get a win. It is kind of tough, Sports Illustrated put us in there, and then the local newspapers around here plastered around us, and of course that puts a big bullseye on you. And I just hope that they stay grounded. I say we do have a lot of great players coming back, but we don't say too much about the great ones we lost. Our quarterback from last year, who was great, and went tackle, and both inside linebackers. So hopefully we're focused and grounded, and I thought really going into the 4-way we weren't, and I think after the teams were pretty tough on us, some of them, that maybe it helped us. We'll see what happens Saturday night.
Right. Now you have the Big Day Prep Showdown 7 on Saturday that you mentioned. That's at Eastern Michigan against Cass Tech, your opener. 8 games, 3 days, brings everybody together, gives kind of a great start to the season. And I guess, over your 4 decades, you've seen a lot of changes, and the national spotlight is creating these big events now. So what do you think about those changes? I mean, are these good for the sport? Is it a good thing?
I'll be honest with you, I'm a little bit old school, and I always thought it was fun to just go play your neighbor down the road and have everybody enthused about it and not have to go to Cincinnati to play somebody. And we really haven't. I guess it's good. I mean, there's more and more emphasis on football, and it's good for football. But I was reading like Don Bosco Prep and so on, going here to play, and De La Salle going down to play St. Thomas Aquinas, and I guess since I'm 70 years old, it's a little hard for me to understand that we need that in high school football.
Yeah, well, I had Greg Toll on from Bosco and talked to him, and I talked to Rocco Casulo, and I think it's a two-edged sword. There's a lot of good and there's a lot of bad to it, so I think you walk the line pretty well. Handicap things, I've been to Lowell, so I know who you played in the championship game this year. I know they're playing Rockford tonight, so I know a little bit about Michigan football from even being there. So tell me about what you have to do this year to get back at the championship.
Well, I really think that we got to get some senior leadership and stay focused. I think we should be able to qualify for the playoffs and so on. Brother Rice is right around the corner. That's I think you mentioned Al Fracassa earlier. Al's a great coach. Later. Yeah, Al's just a terrific coach and even a better person. And we beat them in the last minute last year, so they're right out there lurking. And De La Salle, the private schools are pretty tough. The Catholic schools are pretty tough in this area, and we're all in the same tournament. So we're going to have to just, I hate to say play one game at a time because every coach in the world says that, but that's basically what you got to do, and just hope that we can be at the top of our game by the time the playoffs get here.
Well, you got to read Chapter 1, which is Coach Speak 101, so you got that down pat with one day at a time. So mentioned that Al's going to come up right after you here, after we get you off the air, and I mentioned the 94 years between you. That's a rarity in an area, I think, nowadays. I mean, to have two with your experience. What's your relationship like? You said he's a good guy, but, I mean, do you guys still compare notes again? Hey, it isn't like it used to be, or here's what we're doing this year?
Yeah, we were just on the TV show last week, and we do, and Al and I coached together in the first All-Star game here, and we've been very good friends, and we always laugh that neither one of us can play golf, so we got to keep coaching. But the thing he's a winningest coach, but even more than that, just the way his players react to him, they come back forever, and just love the fatherly image that he has. He does a great job. I hope that we have that here too. But coaching all these years, I think you just love it. You got good assistants, and I won't kid you. When you're winning, it makes it a lot easier. I've had friends that have been great coaches but weren't in good situations, and they just can't keep coaching that long.
Yeah, no. Well, I did watch that interview. My good buddy and former colleague Tom Lydon did it. It's on my website. You can check it out. But, yeah, it was fun talking to you, and I'm looking forward to talking to Al and seeing what his take is on everything. But best of luck with the game on Saturday and in 2011, Coach.
Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Thanks. You're welcome.
Right.
That is John Herrington from Farmington Hills Harrison High School, number 15, according to Max Preps. In their preseason poll. I guess the second one actually came out earlier this week after just a few handful of games. But anyway, we're going to take our first break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the man that we were just talking about there at the end. Al Fracassa is the head coach at Brother Rice, and he leads Michigan with all-time wins. It's 5 shy of 400. We'll talk to Al when we come back. This is High School Football America on the Artist First Radio Network.
The hottest technology in the world isn't being developed in Silicon Valley. In the United States Navy, more top-secret technologies are being created than ever before. Incredible machines made of stealth materials that fly by themselves. The only problem with these incredible technologies? It's a shame the enemy can't see them. To learn more, call 1-800-USA-NAVY or visit Navy.com. Navy, accelerate your life. You've heard of being named All-Conference, but only one organization has earned the classification of being All-World: the United States Navy. Whether it's humanitarian efforts, fighting terrorism, or protecting America's freedoms, the Navy is the team that helps us all win big. To learn how you can make it to the big league, call 1-800-USA-NAVY or visit Navy.com. Navy, accelerate your life. The Navy Seahawk helicopter has a lift capacity of over 6,000 pounds. But when it comes to helping those around the world who need it most, they lift the hopes of millions. To learn more about how the Navy is the best place to do great things, call 1-800-USA-NAVY or visit Navy.com. It will do you and the world a load of good. Navy, accelerate your life.
If you don't clean up your room, the Board of Health is going to condemn it.
The Board of Health doesn't even know about your room. What's more, They don't care.
You know, if you keep making that face, it's going to freeze that way.
Not unless you're someplace really, really cold. Actually, a lot of the warnings moms hand out are exaggerated.
If you don't get your blood pressure checked, you could have high blood pressure, not even know it, and you could die from a stroke.
But she's right about that one. Call the American Heart Association or visit our website to learn more.
And now back to High School Football America with your host, Jeff Fisher.
Thank you very much, Corey. Great show tonight. Still ahead in about 20 minutes. We'll talk with Tony Sanchez from Bishop Gorman High School in Las Vegas, talking about his team's upcoming game tomorrow night on ESPN2 against Armwood from Florida. Armwood ranked number 2 in the nation, Bishop Gorman number 9. Don't forget to keep up with us on Facebook and Twitter. Go to the website, highschoolfootballamerica.com, and click on the icons. And, just a few minutes ago, we spoke with Harrison head coach John Herrington, and as I mentioned going into the commercial break, we're going to stay in the Detroit area to talk with the man, the guy who's the state's winningest coach, and John gave him a lot of props, of course. His name, Al Fracassa from Brother Rice, who's just 5 wins shy of 400 for his career. So, Coach, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, I'm loving having all these people from the Motor City on tonight. So let's talk about 50 years of head football experience as a coach, 40-plus at Brother Rice. Let's teach our listeners a little bit about the school before we go into kind of the nuts and bolts of football. Give us a thumbnail sketch of the school and how the football program fits into life at the school.
Well, it's been in existence for 50 years now. And it's an all-boys school, Catholic school, from 9th grade to 12th. And we play in a very tough Catholic league here in the Detroit area. And like Catholic Central, De La Salle, and Orchard Lake St. Mary's, who produce tremendous teams every year. And we're going to be playing them after a couple of our games early, in the season.
So now I talked to John Herrington about this. I'm going to ask you the same question, and maybe it's just because I got 94 years experience between you two. But, for the coaches that listen to this show, what are some nuggets of philosophy that you can give them that you instituted, several decades ago that still work for you today?
Well, the thing that's important for coaches, young coaches especially, is to be themselves and to try to be able to take the good things that they learn from other coaches and try to present them to their players. I think the big thing about coaches today, they have to care for their players. If they care for their players, that's 95% of it all. Most coaches know enough football to put a football team out there, but taking care of the players and caring for them and finding out about what they like and what they don't like and things like that. You have to work with those kind of kids these days, and if you do that, you have a chance to have a good football team, in my opinion.
Sure, and I know you're going to be modest about the next question, but I mentioned you're 5 away from 400 victories. What does that mean personally to you to have a number like that?
Well, I'll tell you, it tells you how old you're getting. And, I've lost over 100 games, too. So, I've been up there. I'm going on 79 in November. And I don't know if I'm going to last as long as Joe Paterno. But I still love the game, and I'm still healthy enough to go out there and, try to teach some fundamentals football to my boys. And I'm still caring about that. And I just, I don't know what else I would do in life, tell you the truth. I just enjoy being around young people and try to make men out of boys, I guess.
Well, you got a little bit to go because 2 weeks ago I had John McKissick on from South Carolina who will be 85.
Oh, I heard about him, yes.
Yeah, 85 years young and 586 victories, so it gives you something to shoot for.
Oh, my goodness. I read about him, and I would like to meet him someday.
Oh, a great man. Just really, same thing you said, though. It's all about the kids and teaching the kids. And,
That's right.
Before we get to this year's team, I did have a chance to watch a video when you were honored with the field being named after you, and the late Bo Schembechler talked about you. I just wondered, if you could, because people may not have seen that, but that had to be quite an honor. What do you remember about Bo speaking so eloquently about you?
Well, he said things like, if I had to coach all over again, I would like to be like Coach Fracassa. And it kind of complimented me very, very highly about just saying that. Boy, I got a lump in my throat when he said that. But he's such a dynamic speaker. I remember the day well. The whole school came out on the field. It was a sunny day, and he was dressed in a nice sport jacket and tie, and he did it. Anytime he talks, everybody listens. And Bo just was unbelievable. He sent a great message to the young people that were sitting around there on the turf. And wow, it was just a powerful thing. I still got a picture, he and I, on the field in my office, and I knew him quite well because we've sent several boys to the University of Michigan while he was coach, and so we knew each other for many years. And then it was so sad because a couple of months later he passed away. So, it's just one of those things. A great coach. He was just a wonderful personality and tough guy, and everybody loved him here.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that I picked about, and he said it right at the beginning, he called you an honest person, and that you can't get much of a higher compliment from a guy like
No, absolutely, and it was so nice because before the ceremony took place, we were out there talking, and he's just a normal guy who just loved the game of football, and and he was so relaxed and all that stuff. Sometimes I get sad even thinking about it because I wish he would have lived at least another 10 more years,
Yeah, no, I agree. The great ones are, they don't come along every 3 minutes, that's for sure. Let's talk about 2011 and this year's squad. Who are some of your key players? Who can make 2011 a big year for Brother Rice?
Well, we've got a decent offensive lineman. It's the first time that when I get in the huddle, I can look up, and instead of, eye level, because I'm 5'8", and so now I can look up a little bit. We got some tall kids and they're pretty, a very good first unit, and I like my backs. One in particular, a boy by the name of Devin Church. He's been around for a couple of years, and he's about 180 pounds, and he's a good football player, and I'm looking forward to coaching him again. Our defense, we've got about 5 or 6 guys back in the secondary, and they're coming along just fine. And, I'm kind of excited about the team, and I got a bunch of nice kids on the team. I got about 74 players.
Wow.
I can't play them all, but everybody's important, and I make sure that each kid, is recognized. That's what football is all about.
It absolutely is. On High School Football America tonight, we're talking with Al Fracassa, the head coach at Brother Rice, suburban school outside of Detroit. And before we let you go here, I talked to John Herrington, the other guy that makes up the 94 years between the two of you, and had him talk about your relationship. I'd love to know what you think about it, because it's very rare nowadays that you can have two coaches like yourself in the same area with the experience that you have. What's your relationship like?
We're about 3 or 4 miles apart. And I've known John for the last 30 years, 35 years, maybe even more, 40 years. And he does a great job. I remember when he lost his wife 11 years ago. He probably didn't tell you, but he just got married again here last month. Did he tell you that?
No, he didn't tell me that. I got to send him a wedding gift, I guess.
Oh, yes, maybe you should. But he's just married a real nice young lady there, and his age. I'm just kidding. And he's just a good guy, and I'm kind of happy to see him happy again. He's been happy, but when you lose somebody who's been so close to you so many years, that's kind of rough on you,
Absolutely.
And he's a great coach, and he's very much respected. And we had a heck of a game last year with 2 minutes left. we had the game, but one of our kids fumbled the ball, and they picked it up and ran it for a touchdown, and we lost. But it was a heck of a football game.
That was, and of course, Harrison went on to win the state championship then. So, last question, because you've been around it so long, and things have changed. Bigger money flowing in from different places, the national spotlight rankings, and all that. What's your take at 79 years young on the health of high school football?
Well, I'll tell you what, these kids now, they work so hard, and during the off season that, they've got ambition, and they really go at it pretty good with the weightlifting and the training. I like the kid who plays all the sports, like I have a kid on my team who plays lacrosse, and he's a basketball player. I think in high school it's good for a kid to be involved with other sports if he can do it, But there's so many high schools now, they concentrate on one sport, and these kids, they work so hard because, they want to get a scholarship or they want to, go on and further their education, maybe play a little football some more in college, But it's changed. The kids are bigger, stronger, and faster now. And, you got to keep up with all that. And I'm a little bit happy that maybe my time is coming to an end.
Well, like I said, you got 6 more years to catch McKissick, so maybe that's the goal, and then you can retire at 85. But anyway,
oh man, I'll tell you, I just want. Just 1 year at a time, right?
That's exactly right. Well, I've enjoyed getting to know you and John tonight, and I really appreciate it. I wish you the best of luck in 2011, and keep it going. I think it's great that people like yourself and John hang in the game for the right reason, which is the kids.
Well, thank you for this opportunity to talk to you, Jeff, and I wish you a great year on your radio there and whatever, and you take care of yourself.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, Coach.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye. That's Brother Rice, head coach Al Fracassa, the winningest coach in Michigan history, 5 wins shy of 400 for his career. And, of course, we heard about his relationship with John Herrington, who's at Harrison, together 94 years between them. Now, we still got plenty more to come. Tony Sanchez coming up, the head coach of Bishop Gorman. But next we'll talk a little bit about a high school football video contest called Friday Night Feats. State Farm sponsoring it. $160,000 in prize money up for grabs for schools across America. This is High School Football America, your ticket to high school football in America on the Artist First Radio Network.
The hottest technology in the world isn't being developed in Silicon Valley. In the United States Navy, more top-secret technologies are being created than ever before. Incredible machines made of stealth materials that fly by themselves. The only problem with these incredible technologies? It's a shame the enemy can't see them. To learn more, call 1-800-USA-NAVY or visit Navy.com. Navy, accelerate your life. You've heard of being named All-Conference, but only one organization has earned the classification of being All-World: the United States Navy. Whether it's humanitarian efforts, fighting terrorism, or protecting America's freedoms, the Navy is the team that helps us all win big. To learn how you could make it to the big league, call 1-800-USA-NAVY or visit Navy.com. Navy, accelerate your life. The Navy Seahawk helicopter has a lift capacity of over 6,000 pounds. But when it comes to helping those around the world who need it most, they lift the hopes of millions. To learn more about how the Navy is the best place to do great things, call 1-800-USA-NAVY or visit Navy.com. It will do you and the world a load of good. Navy, accelerate your life.
If you don't clean up your room, the Board of Health is going to condemn it.
The Board of Health doesn't even know about your room. What's more, they don't care.
If you keep making that face, it's going to freeze that way.
Not unless you're someplace really, really cold. Actually, a lot of the warnings moms hand out are exaggerated.
If you don't get your blood pressure checked, you could have high blood pressure, not even know it, and you could die from a stroke.
But she's right about that one. Call the American Heart Association or visit our website to learn more.
And now back to the show with your host, Jeff Fisher.
Welcome back to High School Football America. Coming up in about 8 minutes, we're going to talk with Tony Sanchez, head coach at Bishop Gorman, and their big game coming up with Armwood in Vegas tomorrow night on ESPN2. Don't forget to follow High School Football America on Facebook and Twitter. Go to highschoolfootballamerica.com and click on the icons at the top. Now, our third guest tonight is David Beige, Vice President of Public Affairs for State Farm, who's going to talk about State Farm's sponsorship of Friday Night Feats, a national contest searching for the biggest moments of the 2011 high school football season on video. And David's here to talk about the contest. Welcome, David.
Hey, Jeff. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Like I said before we got on the air here, I always like to support people that support high school sports. So let's start with the contest itself. Friday Night Feats. It's FridayNightFeats.com to learn more. But what is it all about? Explain it for our listeners.
Well, State Farm is a big, big supporter of local communities, and when you hit this time of year, there's nothing more galvanizing in most communities than that Friday night football game. And we thought it would be cool to provide an opportunity for young people and coaches to share these amazing plays that happen every Friday, to kind of share that with the world. So we've been doing this for several years, and we're kicking it off again this year, and just wanting people to send in their videos and share them with everybody.
Sure, $160,000 in prize money to be given away to various high schools across the country. I guess the winner was actually in Canada last year, but you mentioned that Friday nights are important, and we get it here on the show. But why is high school football important to State Farm?
Well, we're all about getting people to a better state, whether it's recovering from a car accident or bad weather like this Hurricane Irene that's coming in. I mean, that's what our bread and butter is all about. And part of it is being involved in communities. So the fact that we can help support coaches working with young people during those formative years, learning all those important life lessons on the gridiron, the fact that we can do that helps us all build better communities, and that's one of the things that we think is a priority. So, that's important. The other thing that's important is high schools all over the country are struggling right now. So this is an opportunity for teams to not only bring home the trophy, but also much-needed funds to help in whatever way that school can use.
Now we're talking with David Beige of State Farm about Friday Night Feats. Go to FridayNightFeats.com to learn more about this video contest where your school can win prize money up to $160,000 being given away. Without going into too much detail, though, let's give the listeners and the players, the coaches, the fans, whoever has this video to submit, how do they do this?
Well, what you want to do is go to the website, FridayNightFeats.com, and if you click through all the eligibility rules are there. We're looking for plays from this season, so occasionally people will go back into the archives and say, hey, here's a great one from 2008. Well, we're actually not looking for those. We're looking for plays from this year to kind of keep it fair, and send the videos in electronically, and we take them from all sources. It can be an HD camera to your camera phone, but it's all about finding great plays, submit it, and then those videos end up on the website. And then the next thing we like schools to do is to spread the word, because at various stages it's all about people voting for the very best plays. And you mentioned the winner last year being from Canada. The play was certainly terrific, but the other thing that was a big deal is that community really got everybody in town out to vote. So it's as much about the play as it is about just getting people fired up about supporting the local team and the play, and just bringing those kind of funds back to the high school.
Well, it's all about, community, and that's what you're talking about here. The school last year that won it was Holy Trinity Catholic Secondary School from Ontario, Canada, and they did win, the grand prize. And can you tell us a little bit about how that money helped out that school or the community?
Well, they used it for programs in the school to just help with some of the different facilities in the school. But frankly, people use it in all sorts of different ways. It could be for academic supplies. It could be for improvements to a gymnasium or a field, or it could be used to expand other after-school programming. So there's really no barriers to how people use it, which is another great feature of the program. Once you get that funding, it's really up to that high school how they want to invest it.
Well, I think one of the great things, and then we know this through history, football funds a lot of the other the smaller sports and all that. So I think it's great that you guys have said, hey, here's some prize money, and you can put it toward whatever the needs are in these economic times. That's good. So I really applaud what State Farm's doing, and we're out of time here, but I just really want to thank you to come on here tonight and talk about the contest, and I'm promoting it on my blog so people can find out more. So thank you, David.
Thank you.
All right, have a great night.
You too.
That is David Beige, Vice President of Public Affairs for State Farm. Again, if you want to learn about the program, go to FridayNightFeats.com. You'll also check it out later on tonight on my blog. And we got one more interview coming up. When we come back, we're going to Vegas talking to Tony Sanchez, the head coach of Bishop Gorman, and their big showdown tomorrow night on ESPN2 with Armwood from Florida. That and more when we come back. This is High School Football America on the Artist First Radio Network.
The hottest technology in the world isn't being developed in Silicon Valley. In the United States Navy, more top-secret technologies are being created than ever before. Incredible machines made of stealth materials that fly by themselves. The only problem with these incredible technologies? It's a shame the enemy can't see them. To learn more, call 1-800-USA-NAVY or visit Navy.com. Navy, accelerate your life. You've heard of being named All-Conference, but only one organization has earned the classification of being All-World: the United States Navy. Whether it's humanitarian efforts, fighting terrorism, or protecting America's freedoms, the Navy is the team that helps us all win big. To learn how you could make it to the big league, call 1-800-USA-NAVY or visit Navy.com. Navy, accelerate your life. The Navy Seahawk helicopter has a lift capacity of over 6,000 pounds. But when it comes to helping those around the world who need it most, they lift the hopes of millions. To learn more about how the Navy is the best place to do great things, call 1-800-USA-NAVY or visit Navy.com. It will do you and the world a load of good. Navy, accelerate your life.
If you don't clean up your room, the Board of Health is going to condemn it.
The Board of Health doesn't even know about your room. What's more, they don't care.
If you keep making that face, it's going to freeze that way.
Not unless you're someplace really, really cold. Actually, a lot of the warnings moms hand out are exaggerated.
If you don't get your blood pressure checked, you could have high blood pressure, not even know it, and you could die from a stroke.
But she's right about that one. Call the American Heart Association or visit our website to learn more.
I'm a good driver. I look for cars. I pay attention. I should have seen the little girl in the crosswalk.
Please, look for pedestrians. Stop for them. Think of the impact you could make. A message from the Federal Highway Administration.
Hey everybody, this is Mark Marshall. You're listening to the Artist First Radio Network. You can find out more about me at markmarshall.com and find out about my album at iTunes. Thanks for listening, and stay tuned to the Artist First Radio Network.
And now back to the show with your host, Jeff Fisher.
Thank you, Corey. High School Football America tonight having a few problems getting head coach Tony Sanchez of Bishop Gorman on the phone right now. So we're going to tell you about a couple of the headlines from around America and then try and reconnect with him. I know Coach Sanchez is very busy with ESPN in the house getting ready for tomorrow night's big game with Armwood out of Florida. Let's talk about some participation numbers. They're up in high school sports across America. A big survey just done by the National Federation of State High School Associations. And at the top of the list as far as participatory sports, it's 11-man football. And in the 2009-2010 season, The National High School Federation says that there were 1.1 million student-athletes, a tick-up from the year before that. But again, things are continuing to grow. Here's another stat that came out of the Federation this week, and this is an amazing one, which is the number of people that attend high school sporting events. If you put them all together, football, basketball, lacrosse, cross-country, field hockey, you name it, 510 million fans watched games live last year. Second on the list, football, and of course football is a little different from basketball. Basketball, you have the boys and the girls together, but football, when you combine the regular season and the postseason together, 166 million fans watched games, and I'm giving you the stat before, but I'll give it to you again. More people watch high school football in person than if you combine the NFL and college football. So, again, big numbers. Indiana, South Bend, Washington, senior receiver Garrick Dieter, the state's new record holder for yards receiving in a single game. Dieter caught 8 passes for 373 yards in last Saturday's win over Bloomington North. Dieter caught 5 touchdown passes, 2, the shortest being 44 yards, the longest being 88. The other 3 TD catchers covering 57, 64, and 80 yards. Up in Alaska, big night for Homer's Dylan Day last week, scoring 8 touchdowns on Thursday night, leading the Mariners to an 84-20 rout of Thunder Mountain. Day scored 4 different ways. He scored on a punt return, a fumble return. He caught a touchdown pass and ran for 5 scores in that victory. And then a big decision out of Chicago yesterday, where the association that oversees Wisconsin's high school sports was told that it can limit who streams its games live on the Internet, even though most of its member schools are funded by taxpayers. A federal appeals court ruled on Wednesday, which was yesterday. The decision could have First Amendment implications for many media outlets nationwide. The Chicago appeals court said that the Wisconsin Interscholastic Athletic Association has the right to enter into exclusive contracts for live streaming of its sporting events. Well, let's take a break. Going to try and hook up with head coach Tony Sanchez of Bishop Gorman. We'll take a break, and when we come back, hopefully we'll have Coach Sanchez on the line to talk about his big game coming up tomorrow night on ESPN2 against Armwood from Florida. This is High School Football America on the Artist First Radio Network.
The hottest technology in the world isn't being developed in Silicon Valley. In the United States Navy, more top-secret technologies are being created than ever before. Incredible machines made of stealth materials that fly by themselves. The only problem with these incredible technologies? It's a shame the enemy can't see them. To learn more, call 1-800-USA-NAVY or visit Navy.com. Navy, accelerate your life. You've heard of being named All-Conference, but only one organization has earned the classification of being All-World: the United States Navy. Whether it's humanitarian efforts, fighting terrorism, or protecting America's freedoms, the Navy is the team that helps us all win big. To learn how you could make it to the big league, call 1-800-USA-NAVY or visit Navy.com. Navy, accelerate your life. The Navy Seahawk helicopter has a lift capacity of over 6,000 pounds. But when it comes to helping those around the world who need it most, they lift the hopes of millions. To learn more about how the Navy is the best place to do great things, call 1-800-USA-NAVY or visit Navy.com. It will do you and the world a load of good. Navy, accelerate your life.
Welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much, Corey. High School Football America. I am Jeff Fisher, the host. Still having a few problems getting hooked up with head coach Tony Sanchez of Bishop Gorman. Hopefully we can get him before the top of the hour. But in the meantime, let's talk a little bit about what we were talking about, which is Gorman will play Armwood, the number 2 team in the nation. Gorman, number 9 in the nation, according to Max Preps, on ESPN2. That is tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern time. But, you know, I can kind of hear Hank Williams Jr. shouting, "Are you ready for some football?" Because, ESPN is going to give you your fix of high school football between tomorrow and Sunday with the annual ESPN High School Football Kickoff featuring 26 teams, 13 different states. And there's just a whole host of really, really great matchups. Starting tomorrow, the first game that we'll be on will be Columbus North versus Columbus East in Indiana. That's on ESPNU. And then there's Gainesville versus Buford. Of course, we had Jess Simpson the head coach of Buford, on, that was a couple of weeks ago, and his team ranked number 1 by Max Preps in the small school category. They're also in the overall national rankings this week at number 24. There's a game from South Carolina, Gaffney and Dorman, a great matchup there. And then on Saturday, St. Thomas Aquinas, one of the top teams. They were a national champ in a couple of polls last year under new head coach Rocco Casulo, taking on Prattville, a big team from Alabama. So that will go a long way to determining national championship type of things. Also, the same day, we have on the same field at South Panola, the defending champs, the national champs from Mississippi, taking on Hoover, Alabama. Of course, that's from the two-a-day fames. Back to Indiana later on in the day, Indianapolis Cathedral taking on Warren Central, another nationally ranked team. Cathedral lost to a 5A school. They're a 4A school. They lost to Ben Davis last weekend. We've got a game from Texas, Sulphur Springs versus Denton Ryan. I saw Denton Ryan last year in the championship game in Texas. That's a good program right there. From Missouri, Hillcrest taking on Seneca. Then there's a California matchup with Pleasant Grove versus Monterey Trail. And then on Sunday, we've got Collegiate Academy from D.C. taking on Taft from Ohio. Glenbard West taking on Wheaton Warrenville South. In Illinois, that's a noontime start on ESPN2, and then things wrap up at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, an Ohio-Florida battle as Cocoa takes on Coleraine. Cocoa, a great team that's gone around the country recently, and a smaller school but doing big things against some bigger schools. Coleraine, an always tough team from the Cincinnati area of Ohio. Going to take a break and try one more time to see if we can get Tony Sanchez, the head coach of Bishop Gorman, on the line here. You're listening to High School Football America on the Artist First Radio Network.
The hottest technology in the world isn't being developed in Silicon Valley. In the United States Navy, more top-secret technologies are being created than ever before. Incredible machines made of stealth materials that fly by themselves. The only problem with these incredible technologies? It's a shame the enemy can't see them. To learn more, call 1-800-USA-NAVY or visit Navy.com. Navy, accelerate your life. You've heard of being named All-Conference, but only one organization has earned the classification of being All-World: the United States Navy. Whether it's humanitarian efforts, fighting terrorism, or protecting America's freedoms, the Navy is the team that helps us all win big. To learn how you can make it to the big league, call 1-800-USA-NAVY or visit Navy.com. Navy, accelerate your life. The Navy Seahawk helicopter has a lift capacity of over 6,000 pounds. But when it comes to helping those around the world who need it most, they lift the hopes of millions. To learn more about how the Navy is the best place to do great things, call 1-800-USA-NAVY or visit Navy.com. It will do you and the world a load of good. Navy, accelerate your life.
Welcome back to High School Football America. Now here's your host, Jeff Fisher.
Thank you very much, Corey, and we were able to connect with Bishop Gorman head coach Tony Sanchez. He's working hard, getting ready for the big showdown tomorrow night with Armwood out of Florida, battle of number 2 versus number 9, and welcome to the show, Coach. Thanks for taking the time.
I really appreciate you having me on. Sorry it took a while to get a hold of me. We were finishing up our team meal.
No, that's okay. You got a lot of work to do. Let's start with the schedule maker. Last week you beat Arizona's Chaparral, a big team in the Solenberger Classic. Now you get Armwood, number 1 out of Florida. Who made this schedule?
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, the first game we get by winning state. You know, you win state, and we always go there. And then we had talked to ESPN, and they were interested in doing a game, and they asked us who we'd want to play, and we just said anybody. We didn't really care. We just were excited about having another big game. And you know, based on our schedule and the availability of open dates, we kind of have to do this. You know, if we want to play a big schedule, we have to take this 2-game grind in a row. We have one more bye later on in the year, but that was something that we kind of talked to the kids about, and we decided we were going to go ahead and go for it. So we didn't know if it would be Armwood or who it would be, but it worked out good. And we got a quality opponent that we've got to face off against tomorrow night, but we're excited about the opportunity.
Sure, you find out in a hurry how good you are. You got the 42-22 win last week. Big game for Shaq Powell. You're running back 300 yards, 6 touchdowns. What did you learn last week that's going to help you as you get ready for Armwood?
Well, the thing is, we had such a young team the year before. We returned, 10 starters on offense, and defensively we were a little young in certain places, and obviously we learned, some of our strengths and weaknesses on defense, and a couple areas that we need to do a better job preparing the kids in. But the run game solid like we thought it would be. Jared Solomon, our quarterback, looked extremely sharp, did a great job delivering the ball. So we feel good about where we're at right now. And you know how it is early in the year, week one, the thing you want to eliminate is, penalties and turnovers. I thought we could have done a better job with the penalties, but we didn't have any turnovers, so that was a huge plus. So if we can kind of clean up some of those penalties, continue not to turn the ball over, and just continue to mature on both sides of the ball as you do throughout the course of a year, I think we have an opportunity tomorrow night.
Now tell us a little bit about what you know about Armwood. You've got a game on them. This is their season opener. How good is this ball club?
Well, it's a good team, and the thing about it is we definitely have a game on them, but, different states have different rules, so they did have 21 days of full padded practice in the spring with 2 scrimmages, and they have a scrimmage under the belt, so, padded days-wise, since last season, they've had a little bit more than us. We just had that game early, so I think it's kind of a wash there. But, man, Coach Callahan does such a fantastic job. They're known for their defense, and I know why. I mean, you look at them, they'll probably call blitz getting off the bus. They do a fantastic job of giving you different looks. They're very athletic. And like I said, they're going to play zero, and they're going to give you fits. And offensively, they do a great job of spreading you out and running the football. They're a little unknown right there. Their offensive line is fantastic. I believe all of them have got offers. But their quarterback's an unknown. He's a transfer that just came in. He's 6'4", 220. He's got offers from Tennessee and Ohio State, and he hasn't even thrown a pass for him yet, so we have no film on him. We don't know what he looks like. So we're anticipating a couple of different things with him. But that's going to be kind of a mystery,
Wow, welcome to Florida football. So the last thing, because we're up against time here, I hear this is kind of like an orange Boise State from what I've been reading. Everybody's in orange. You're all dressed in orange. The only thing that's not orange tomorrow night is the field. So what do you think the atmosphere is going to be like?
You know what? It's going to be fantastic. I think one of the little reporters got carried away when he said the coaches were going to wear orange pants. We're not doing that. But the student body is going to be all decked out in orange, and our players are going to be dressed in orange head to toe, and our coaches will be wearing traditional blue so they can see us. But it's going to be a celebration of the school. One of the guys asked me earlier today, this is the biggest game you've ever played, and then I don't know about that. I think every game you play, the next game is the biggest game you ever play. And so it is for us. But tomorrow's a celebration of our school, of our community. Just 54 years, longer than that, 60 years of history now. We opened up in 1954, so it's exciting for everyone who's supported Gorman and been a part of this great community to come out tomorrow and to see us on that national TV stage.
Well, Coach, we'll be watching the game tomorrow night. I appreciate you breaking away to talk to us, and good luck in the game.
All right, thank you so much. Appreciate me having me on.
You're welcome. That is head coach Tony Sanchez of Bishop Gorman. They take on Armwood tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN2. A huge matchup. Both teams loaded with a lot of talent. And we've had just a great show tonight. I want to thank our other guests on the show. As we had from Brother Rice in Michigan, Al Fracassa, the winningest coach in Michigan history. And right behind him, the guy with 13 state titles, John Herrington of Farmington Hills Harrison, ranked number 15 by Max Preps. We also had David Beige on from State Farm talking about their Friday Night Feats. Go to FridayNightFeats.com to learn more. I want to thank our sponsors. Tonight I want to thank Blitz Group for helping us out with the media strategy. BlitzGroupLLC.com is their website. Also the High School Rudy Awards, HighSchoolRudyAwards.com. And finally, the National High School Coaches Association. To learn how to be a member, just go to NHSCA.com. I want to thank Corey for putting this all together and getting Coach Sanchez on the show just at the end, so he does always a great job, and we appreciate that. And don't forget, we'll be back next week, Thursday night at 7 o'clock Eastern, every Thursday night to talk football here on High School Football America. Don't forget, games are going on right now. If you want the scores tonight, go to HighSchoolFootballAmerica.com. We'll have them all night, keep you up to date. We'll talk to you next week. See you then.